Dobra. Patrzcie, od ostatniego czasu zdobyliśmy czapeczkę Menelaosa. Zdobyliśmy... Patrzcie, mamy 37 butelek, mamy 3,7 złocisza. Mamy tutaj to, o czym Derku mówi, że jesteśmy dziani, to mamy karabin za 11 do sprzedania. Przypinki bym nie sprzedawał, mamy kulę za 13 i mamy to za 50. Nie możemy tego jeszcze odczytać. Musimy znaleźć jakieś hasło. Tak się prezentują nasze statystyki. Jeżeli chodzi o misję, coś mi się zdaje, że troszeczkę mi przycina. Kim zaproponował pomoc? Idź do jego powozu motorowego stojącego przed wirnik. Plan na teraz jest taki, że idziemy do tego powozu. Idziemy spać, może pogadamy z Kimem, a rano idziemy rozkminiać dalej te fajeczki. Będzie cieplutko w główkę? Dokładnie, będzie cieplutko w główkę. 22:36. Kurczę, to zaraz i na zółkę. XDD.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glove.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transport enclosure.
Aha.
Transport enclosure. Regular people just call it the cage. The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable. 4 shiny hubcaps are stacked against the seat. Their silver edges sparkle in the dark.
Fifka, smoczy tornado? Dokładnie, fifka.
I confiscated these 4 a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal. There are spinner hubcaps, frivolous things you put on your wheels. When the wheels come to a stop, the caps keep on spinning. There's no real use for them, it's just for vanity.
A vanity he wouldn't mind.
A couple of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns
Za
out
zbyt wolną
he's
jazdę,
some
aha.
coalition official's son and high. I took them and arrested him for driving under the influence. I don't know, is it? I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back. No, that would be silly. I don't know why I kept them. It doesn't matter. I couldn't put them on this MC anyway. A cop with spinners. That would be outrageous.
He flashes a smile, barely visible in the dark.
Don't make your unpaid hostel bill a moral boon, officer. It won't stick.
Aha.
Shut down.
No
I've
co?
nothing to add.
No jak to -1 do morali? Chciałem być... Aż ty mendo.
Yes, the Bird Nest Roy, near the canal. We've been there. If I'm not mistaken, it should be open late.
Items that can be pawned at Bird's Nest Roy's appear in your inventory under the Items tab. You can pawn these items when talking to Roy.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners. The white suede feels luxurious under the touch, and the metal clutch handle so very familiar in your palm.
No dobra, sprawdźmy, co on nam tutaj dał orzeszek. Aha, coś miało się... Aha, zabierz kołpaki do miejscowego lombardu na południe od placu. Okej. Coś, Derku, czuję, że powoli się zbliżamy do... O, tu... Widzu, widziałeś to? 200? 200 kolumbijskich pesos? Dzieje się to? Najśmieszniejsze jest to, że ja nie pamiętam, gdzie jest lombard, a nie ukradłem mapy. A tej mapy w ogóle nie powinien mieć, patrzcie. Widzicie? Teraz znika. Nadal nie wiem, gdzie jest mapa. Nie, tędy nie możemy iść. Tutaj nie pójdziemy nigdzie. Ja w ogóle nie pamiętam, jak my trafiliśmy do tego ziomeczka. Czy ktoś pamięta, gdzie był ten lombard? Plastikowe opakowanie, let's go. To nie był Lombard, co nie? Czy to był Lombard? Jest i nasz Jimmy, dobra.
Greetings on this fine night. What brings you here? The pawn shop is always open.
Dobra, elektrochemia, lecimy? Czekajcie.
Sure thing.
Dobra, więc co zrobię?
Sure,
Najpierw to
man.
chciałbym coś sprzedać.
Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant and inspects them. The spinners appear iridescent in the
Odkręcimy jeszcze
dancing
elektrochemię,
light
wiecie?
of his pawn shop.
Lepsze rękawiczki.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some foreign prince for them? Jump a mesk banger? No matter. I'll give you 200 real.
No
Okay.
one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
Of course, I meant no offense. 200 real for you, officer.
Kurde, ale dobrze, dobrze.
Delightful doing business with you.
Thank you. Here's the 130 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
A jak to chowasz do kieszeni? Ej, no
The
chciałem
windfall
200.
is a small consolation.
Ej, patrzcie, skam.
Anything else you're thinking of selling? Jean Baptiste summer dinghy rates is 31.
Skam jak nic, no
What a
myślałem, że 200
pleasant time
dostaniemy.
that was.
Jesteśmy biedni dalej, widzowie.
So, what do you want to know? Price? I can give you 320 for it. A pin from 31 ought to be priced at 310, but I added another 10 cents just to be nice. Sure thing. So, do you want to sell anything? Another time, perhaps.
No, poczekajcie. Patrzcie, bo te rękawiczki mają zręczne palce, a te mają +1 do elektrochemii, więc jak tu teraz patrzcie, mam +2 do elektrochemii. Teraz spróbujemy sprawdzić, czy on jest naćpany. 83% widzowie. To jest test biały. Błagam, nie troluj mnie.
Still no clue.
I jeszcze nie
obviously
zapisałem.
haven't been doing enough drugs lately.
No jak to jest możliwe? No widzu, no co to jest? Kurde, 83%, no. Ja pierniczę. Dobrze, że teraz zapisałem XDD. Dobra, chodźmy stąd. Elektrochemia, patrzcie w co możecie iść. Ja i tak muszę pójść w elektrochemię. Elektrochemię, encyklopedię, wytrzymałość, retorykę, no wszystko tak naprawdę trzeba pójść, co nie? Ciało jako patrzcie, ciało jak narzędzie. Mamy tutaj 2 zadania do zrobienia ze sztangą i ze śmietnikiem. 3 ciało jak narzędzie, o kurde. Im dużo jest na koncepcjalizm, więc może teraz pójdziemy w ciało jak narzędzie albo koncepcjalizm, albo ewentualnie... Tak, 83% na niepowodzenie, tak, dokładnie. Kurde, ale skamisko, ja pintolentę. Dobra. Run. Run. Dobra. Plan jest taki, zapłacimy temu waflowi. I rano pójdziemy... No po prostu ja mam takiego pecha z tym, ale... Raz było chyba 42% i stwierdziłem, dobra, i tak nie wejdzie. I weszło, co nie? A to 83 specjalnie jeszcze elektrochemię zwiększyłem.
Can I help you? Yes, have you got it? Well?
Dobra, będziemy grzeczni.
Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted.
Wow!
Payment
Zdobyte
for
doświadczenie plus
services
70, awans.
If you
Wow!
continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow.
Dobra, byliśmy grzeczni, dostaliśmy nowy poziom.
He's not sorry about his behavior for your sake. Now that you have money, he really wants to make sure you're not angry with him.
The electronic lock to your room has been disabled till 9 p.m. tomorrow. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have
O, może
officers
będzie
from
tego.
the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you?
Za co zapłaciłeś $120? Za to, że nie płaciłem wcześniej za nocleg tutaj. Spałem 3 dni, nic nie zapłaciłem, jeszcze wszystko rozwaliłem. Dobra, wielorybku, derku, ewentualnie to Venox, jak jesteś, albo inni widzowie, możecie napisać, w jaką powinienem
The
pójść
door
teraz.
is closed. This door can only be opened with a key or from the inside.
Nie wiem, ta babka chyba ta babka, z którą tutaj gadałem, pani wielorybką na początku, to przepadła, szkoda, bo ona by nam mogła dać fajeczkę na przykład. Więc możecie teraz decydować, co powinniśmy pójść. Tam powiedziałem, że jest dużo na konceptualizm i ciało to narzędzie, elektrochemia, savoir-vivre. Zręczne palce też potrzebujemy, żeby ukraść tą mapę w końcu i być jak biały człowiek. Ja teraz będę mógł z nim pogadać?
Yes?
No czekaj, co jest? No dołączyłem.
What do you want to know? Good.
To wewnętrzne imperium też musimy. Ciało jak narzędzie? Dobra, ciało jak narzędzie. Chodźcie dla mnie siłaczu. O, i zaraz będzie kolejny awans. Dobra, chodźmy. Bo już się nic nie ogarniemy. Ciekawe, gdzie on będzie spał. Może on tutaj będzie spał i nam to odblokuje. Aha. Kurde, no. Szkoda, szkoda.
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Just a moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe. And besides, we should discuss our progress
mamy
in the
to.
investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
Aha, teraz nie wpiernicz. Dobra, pierwszy dzień w grze
air
zrobiony.
outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then,
Where shall we begin? We should talk about the investigation, first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM?
O, może on nam da fajkę, patrzcie.
I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
I apologize, but I only brought one with me. I have exactly one cigarette every night while going over my notes.
No jak to?
You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will and unhealthy.
Keeping the habit within the parameters he's given himself takes a lot of focus. It would be easy to simply quit.
Yes, it's been a long and eventful day. Well, you were so hungover that you couldn't keep it down.
Jednego papierosa ma akurat? Aha, na każdy dzień akurat sobie jednego kupuję, co nie? Jakoś nie chcę się wierzyć.
And there's still much to do at the crime scene too. We didn't search it thoroughly enough.
He would have put all of this more harshly, but he doesn't want you to feel completely discouraged. Probably because he's afraid that you'll just give up and keep drinking.
It's not my job to evaluate your methodology, officer. I'm just going through the facts. As for the interviews, we weren't able to find the union leader, Everard Clare, much less interview him. So that's on the to-do list for tomorrow. We tried to interview the Wild Palms rep, but she asked us to do something for her first. Fine, so be it. I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is. We have to get her to talk to us.
Zaciska usta.
Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice?
I have a really good theory
Ziomek,
about why
im
you're
zadanko
running so
musimy robić.
fast, son. Just you wait until we get up tomorrow.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age.
Aha,
And in
w moim
those
wieku.
days.
Olga.
Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange. They're quite limited, actually.
I
The
nagle
power
cię
officers
na
of
mnie
the Havashol
spogląda,
citizens
tak?
militia
Zachęcająco.
exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with the interdepartmental schedule.
Widzowie, jutro nakładamy same kary. Nie robimy zadań. 1000 reali. Rozumiecie to? Nakładamy tylko karę.
Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM. The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in
Jak
the
to nie?
economic structure of Havashol.
Słuchaj, Kim, ja potrzebuję
We can
20
arrest people, of
realiów na
course,
jutro.
but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station cold sleep. It prevents confusion and overcrowding. You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up.
When power calls you, you come. But power itself is a fragile trick of
Ja lubię
perception.
władczość, w sumie podoba mi się ta grafika.
As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in the watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not to abuse that power. You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually your witness. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone, which is for the best. We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Couron and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them. Yes, the international community's mission in Havashol, and the moral intern more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less. Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Havashol or the coalition government founded the RCM. It's probably more honest, yes. Either way, the moral intern leases us the right to keep the peace in this city, and they will take it away if we misuse it. The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution.
Zaciągając się z dymem papieroska, bym chciał tego papieroska.
There are a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world. What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4
Jej
centuries ago.
niewinność.
Others say they are just technocrats.
Dobra, jaki mają
Interesting
symbol?
question.
Żeby znak słońca?
It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
Something ominous. Something even a little feminine, but in a strict manner.
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too
Czyli
abstract
ścisło,
for me.
więc.
For you, she is something painful, though it's hard to say why.
The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
Aha, czy ich nie lubi.
It is more than that. There's some kind of affection in him.
Yes, I did. When I was
kurde.
younger. In my 20s, I considered myself a moralist. A blue forget-me-not, a piece of the sky. They're not all that bad. But the years have changed that. I don't know what I believe in now. No, I believe in the RCM. That's enough for me.
Wyjdzie na to, że ten Kim jest bardziej walnięty niż my po alkoholu. Czyżby? Prawie nie mają się tam dobrze. No, 4.
Well phrased. I understand answering to foreign powers doesn't sit
Ej, jaki to jest
well
koks?
within
Jaka to jest
membership.
koks gra?
But
Widzicie
without
to?
the EMI,
To
we would become
mamrocz
vigilantes.
cicho?
That's just the way it is.
Mhm. Matko, ale to jest trafione teraz. Masakra. Teraz by ta gra nie przeszła. Jakby ją wypuścili.
Spoken like a revolutionary, not a cop. But hypothetical aside, in Martinez we already are vigilantes. At least the Union thinks so. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging.
Na rondo na swojej głowie.
The lights of the orphan district are reflected in his glasses, the red and golden orbs of the motorway sliding like pearls on a string from east to west as Revachol commutes back to the suburbs. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Monday is over. The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, contemplating the next drag. This soldier is the highlight of the day for me, he thinks.
Ten mały.
This little stick right here.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different inland, in Jamrock and the GRIH. It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. This place has fallen between the cracks, the jurisdictions of our 2 precincts. We run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works, our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate.
Night. Captain Ptolemy Price steps into the yard. A piebald horse waits by the motor carriage, chewing oats out of an oat bag.
Konik.
Seagulls fly overhead. The sky is black. Captain Price wears a black suit and a standard patrol coat as he mounts the horse to head home. Rows of houses on either side, hunching over the sidewalks, and Precinct 41 with its dome roof growing distant. Around him, the streets are silent. A kid on the corner waves at the captain as he takes the turn on Petition and Main. The horse neighs. The captain
Kurde,
nods.
myślałem, że zarobi ruszenie konia. Zawiodłem się.
Thanks, kid, he thinks. He's grateful.
Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes. Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
Czy mi się zdaje, czy nam brakuje 5 pedeków? 15 pedeków, zaraz będzie kolejny poziom. Czy to już zakończyliśmy tą misję? Tak. Dobra. Czy później zrobię tam dziurę w tamtych drzwiach. Możecie być tego pewni. Do zobaczenia rano. Tak, tak. Sprawdźmy jeszcze, jakie tutaj mamy szanse.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. It's barely covered in steam anymore. It's your face in the mirror, adorned with the expression.
Patrzcie, 8%, 8%. Shipper viewers on streambo.com remove the space. Bol dissecator. Hello, bonjour. Bol dissecator. Widzą, widzisz tą nazwę? Bonjour, oui, oui. C'est magnifique. Bonjour, oui, oui, c'est magnifique. Thank you, Boldy Sekator, nasz sekatorku. Thank you, but we have our own viewers. I have my own boats without paying. Teraz stawiam na razie to lustro. Ciekawe, kiedy my w ogóle rozwalimy to lustro. I nie mówię tutaj o roztrzaskaniu go
The
na...
bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours.
Liwi, że
The sheets look awful.
że tę, że tamtę. Pełznij pod pościel, to ja każdego wieczora.
The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and
Może
finally close
okradniemy
your
Kima,
eyes.
widzowie. Okradniemy Kima i jesteśmy 70 reali do przodu. Mamy to, w 3
And
streamy
then
zrobiliśmy pierwszy dzień.
And then sleep doesn't come. Obviously, you're in bed with your eyes closed, but it's not happening.
Aha, najgorsza część snu. Koniec.
Maybe
Koniec snu.
it's the bed's fault. Its synthetic filling has separated into hard lumps. The pillowcase smells oddly.
Aha, zeszczałem się w poduszkę.
It barely covers your toes, stretching over your soft belly. This is your body here, intimate and warm, breathing. Under your thrumming eyelids, you see a dizzying array of colors. You won't get off this carousel quite so easily. It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you is still trying to solve the case, isn't it? Something to do with, what was it that the lieutenant said? Union? And it's gone again. Your thoughts lost between the slowing brain waves. Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your sleep and
Dobranoc.
images start forming.
Dobra. Pierwszy dzień za nami. Co jest? Co się stało? O kurde. Ej, co to jest? Patrzcie, ja pójdę do tego. Ja co, ja chyba teraz jestem we śnie, co nie? Co się dzieje? Nie działa mi tab, nie działa mi podkreślanie. Patrzcie, chyba w nocy będę Kurde. Fajna muzyka, no i fajny w ogóle motyw, że ja w nocy... Venox mówi? Venox może to napisać też, co nie? Ichi. Jak chcę tych 50 obserwujących. Ej, tu jestem ja, patrzcie.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood? What it says on the can, Harry. Answer the question. You're not kidding anyone, Harry. You don't remember shit.
Jestem Harry, widzowie.
Do you remember your wife's hand on your face? You know who I am. I'm the bad day. The one where you ask her, and then later in the streets, wandering. It's the worst day of all time, Harry dear. And it's coming. She will hear about it on the phone.
Patrzcie, disco Elysium, co nie?
Reality will turn into a grotesque nightmare. This will be the last thing you did to her. Tell me, do you remember the love of your life? Do you remember the warmth of her thighs between her legs
I wnętrze?
and her
Co?
mouth?
O czym on mówi? Widzę, ja się boję. O czym on mówi, widzu? Jakie ciepło. To ja odszedłem, zostałem porzucony.
That's right, funky baby. And you just stood there. One hand on the bottle and the other on your dick. Watching her go. Let it all be true. dragged away from you. Tell me,
Z siusiaczkiem w ręce,
where
widzę.
are your
Trzyma pan na
friends?
gorącym uczynku.
Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours? No, it's gone. 3 times gone and never coming back. You failed. You failed, Elysium.
O, zaraz się dowiemy.
Everything.
Szukałem tego teraz.
The pale and the useless. On the surface. The outer magnetosphere. But you really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion people. And you failed every single one of them. You really fucked up.
Ej, no nie mów tak.
No, you haven't. You're just sleep talking. And the act is wearing
No, fajny
thin
voice acting.
too. The spots on
A to
the
w ogóle
disco
Disco Elysium,
ball
to ma drugie dno, to nazwa tej
fade
gry.
around you. You'll be back in those cold snakeskins in no time, sweating up the bed. Stinky
Mózg gadzi.
boy.
Układ limbiczny. A to było na początku.
You're not coming back from shit, thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours, bumping into things and acting like a clown. Who are you kidding? You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone. The bed rises to meet you. A thin, sleep-like state. More glass than velvet, grinding in your head.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Some kind of new type of hangover.
Hangover.
Oh yes, party boy. And
Party
it's
boy?
worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes too. So soon already. A silent alarm goes off in your head like clockwork. Barely let you sleep at all. Time to get those clothes on, Harry.
O matko, to zawsze mnie straszy taki, wiecie, taki niski głos. Zawsze mnie to straszy, zawsze mnie to przeraża. Taki niski głos, co nie? Śpiewający.
Time to go to work in the shit factory.
No, to jak w horrorach takie rzeczy są, co nie? Elysium to w mitologii greckiej część Hadesu przeznaczona dla dusz ludzi dobrych. A disco no to disco. Brzmi trochę jak z gredek z Harry'ego Pottera. XZD.
Good going, buddy. Oh, just a dream. You have ones like that all the time. You feel even worse this
Jak?
morning than
Przecież nie
you
piłem,
did
no co
last
jest?
night. You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. Detectives need to be able to think.
Ja się czuję świetnie, wymawiasz mi coś.
That's not really true. Your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster.
Aha.
Time to get some more. Don't do that. Stay strong. The hangover will wear off. You don't need to keep doing this to yourself. Speed is a potent central nervous system stimulant. It kept you propped up all day yesterday, despite your debilitating hangover. How else did you think you even got up from this floor? You got up from this floor because of a holy vow you made 16 years ago. With me. To wake up exactly 7:30 every morning until the day you die.
Nice.
Don't be silly. There was no vow. You were high on speed. That was the only reason you got up.
Nie mam czasu
You
na speed.
can't detect without it. It's that simple. Are you sure? ready to live as this pathetic shell of yourself for days. Basically, a week. Let's be honest.
Nie wchodzimy widzowie w
Maybe 3.
narkotyki mamy w nosie.
Half the town will be dead by then. You will be fired. Suit yourself, slow, sad shell man. See how you do without your spark.
Dobra.
This fan has 2, or has it been consigned there as punishment?
Kurde, przydałby nam
You
się
feel
ten
as
krawat
though
może,
this
co?
creature is your friend.
Teraz pójdziemy może w savoir vivre i weźmiemy ten krawat, bo on może dużo nam daje. Może dużo nam da, o to mi chodziło. Okej, czy dzisiaj będzie spokój? A gdzie ten ananasek nasz?
The door is closed. Still nothing. You should punch a fucking hole in it.
Głosi mi, żeby pójść ze strony dziwkę, czy uderzy w drzwi. Uderzamy w drzwi, widzowie? Bo mnie ciekawi, co się z nią stało. Ona może mieć fajki. Uderzamy czy nie? Czy ze strony dziwka?
You slam your fist into the vinyl. It does not produce a hole. The door sits sturdily in the frame, and your fist hurts. This was all a very good, normal thing to do. Not to mention, great exercise. This door can only be opened with a key or from the
Ciekawe, czy ona w ogóle
inside.
żyje. Czekaj,
The
jakbym
door
tego
is
zapukaj
closed.
znowu.
Still, no. You should punch a fucking hole in it. That felt good. Everyone is a whore. Now
Aha,
punch
okej,
a
myślałem, że
hole
on
in
to
the
krzyknie.
door. Don't. Everyone is a whore. What does that even mean? You hear the murmur of blood in your ears. Your back slowly relaxes when you breathe out.
Ciekawe. Kurde, może trzeba było z nią wejść w interakcję na początku gry. O kurde. Popatrzcie, patrzcie. Przyszli ci ananaskowie. Chcę sobie z nami pogadać. Dobra, zaczynamy. Dzień dobry.
Morning. Looks like we can get to work at once. The union muscle turned up. They look rowdy. We should talk to them. A lot of things point to the dock workers union. The circumstances in Martinez, my preliminary information. Actually, that's not a lot of things. We should have dug up more yesterday. Still, we need to talk to them, and it won't be easy. I mean ungovernable. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being here. They prefer to be policed by the union. These men here. Men who drink beer for breakfast? There's talk of an armed wing of the union called the Hardy Boys, who are responsible for state policing. I think it's them. I completely forgot. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep. It's them by the looks of it. Loud and nasty, just like the manager said.
Loud and nasty.
One loose thread less to worry about, and one big problem to replace it.
Nice.
That would just escalate tensions. No captain would sign off on it. Solving one murder isn't worth a conflict between the RCM and the Debarders Union. In fact, even the death of 2 detectives might not warrant an all-out war. So
Dobra,
let's
widzowie,
keep
teraz
it
bardzo
quiet,
ważna
okay?
decyzja. Idziemy po krawat, czy próbujemy ukraść mapę?
He's not
Czy coś innego idziemy,
exaggerating
widzowie?
about that
Jak
mortal
myślicie?
danger. Just calmly factoring it in. Your fists clench and your pulse rises uncomfortably.
One more thing before we do. We don't have to talk to them immediately. We can walk right past them, continue with our business.
Good. A power move. Purposefully concentrate on something else first. Yeah, streetwise. Zoom right past. Do it on your own terms.
They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place. Anyway, I leave that choice to you. Whatever you decide is fine by me.
Savoir vivre? Jak myślicie, savoir vivre i próbujemy skoczyć po tego? Próbujemy zgarnąć ten krawacik sobie.
Just a moment. And there's no public phones nearby?
The closest phone booth is down the coast. Sorry for the inconvenience, ma'am.
It's fine, I understand. Thank you anyway.
Ale może ją odprowadzimy do tego.
The lady is distressed. Perhaps something more upbeat might cheer her up.
Please don't trouble yourself about me, sweetie. I was just hoping to make a call, but the Whirling's phone line isn't working.
A faint smile tells you she appreciates the effort, but at the moment her mind is on more serious matters.
Empatię, łatwy
The
sukces.
union office probably has a phone, but I can't really get there. Or to the phone booth down the coast. And Gary's phone is dead too. The manager was vague about it.
Why would he be vague about phone problems? This is something to look into later. Ask God, maybe.
To let the young woman who's house sitting for us know that we may be delayed. Morel, my husband, and our friend Gary were supposed to get back by Monday night.
Czyżby Morel i
They're
Gary
still
już
missing,
leżeli z
and
tego?
I
Już
haven't
pływali z
heard from
rybkami?
them. I was also hoping she'd heard from Morel.
You hear that? Someone's missing. There could be foul play afoot. That's right. Now skip the foreplay. Time to dive into the dark alleys. Start shaking down the usual
Praca w
suspects.
terenie, let's
You
go.
know, legwork. Doing some good will alleviate the hangover. At least you're of use to someone.
That's just it. This isn't like him at all. He always
Połkniemy haczyk.
plans his
It's a bait.
expeditions so carefully.
A cold breeze hisses through dense thickets of reeds. Something sweet in it, somnolent. A damp chill goes down your spine. When you look around, you're still in the whirling in rags.
But you have more important things to worry about. Just some field work, sweetie. Morel is a highly trained scientist. He and his assistant Gary are studying an extremely rare species of insect. But they should have returned by now. They were just going down the coast across the water lock
Aha,
to set a
zaśluzą.
few traps. He said
A
they'd
śluza
be
jest
back on
zamknięta.
Monday.
Znaczy jest otwarta. Albo zamknięta.
The water lock, that was broken. Could this be it?
Oh, sweetie, it's nothing like that. Gary's as loyal as they come. I trust him with my husband's life any day. Oh my, what happened to the water lock? Well, whatever the cause, I'm thankful. To both of you. You've spared me another sleepless night.
You're welcome, ma'am.
I hate to ask, but if your investigation takes you to the other side of the coast, please do keep an eye out for my husband.
Oko, loko, baby.
This will surely lead to a cryptozoological mystery with that extremely rare insect.
And if you see him, let him know Lena is waiting for him here at the Whirling. He gets so tangled up in his work that he may not know the water lock's been repaired. And it's cold out there.
Przyjmujemy
Oh,
zadanie,
you're
pewnie.
such a dear. Thank you, sweetie.
Słuchajcie, widzowie, muszę otworzyć drzwi.
Oh, yes. A zoologist. A cryptozoologist, to be more precise.
It's a pseudoscience that attempts to legitimize research into mythological beasts and urban legends.
Dobra, widzu kochaniutki, przepraszam. Już jestem. Teraz pójdziemy w tą encyklopedię derku. Już jestem. Kryptozoologia. Mitologiczne, patrzcie, mitologiczne stworzenia i legendy miejskie, a
And people are
Elysium to
entitled to their
jest,
opinions.
to jest z mitologii greckiej. Miejsce, do którego ludzie idą dobrzy ludzie w Kadesie. Taki trochę raj.
My apologies, ma'am. I did not mean to undermine
A,
your
to
hobby.
kim to mówił?
It's not a hobby, dear. It's a subfield of zoology.
Patrzcie, pyskuje ten
One
kim.
specializing in animal species that are so exceedingly rare that many assume them to be
Zmyślone zwierzę,
extinct
czyli
or even fictitious.
czyli wiecie, co to jest zmyślone zwierzę? 50 obserwujących uparoweczki zmyślone zwierzę, które nie istnieje.
Searching for such species called cryptids is difficult and often thankless. And frankly, many scientists are too lazy to do it. Universities these days are rarely interested in supporting real research.
Dobra, ku pamięci Derku, bo ty chciałeś tą encyklopedię, tak? Żebym później nie zapomniał. A ja nie mogę awansować, co ja poszedłem? Czekajcie, muszę jeszcze drzwi otworzyć. Ej, widzowie, ja pijany jestem? Gdzie jest ten punkt? A, Derku, popatrz, ja już nie mogę pójść w encyklopedię. Sorry, Derku, widzisz? Widzowie, jak jest jedna gwiazdka, to można tylko raz to pójść, widzicie? Jak są... To nie jest gwiazdka, sorry. Jak są dwa takie rąby, kopnięte kwadraty, to możesz 2 razy awansować. Jak są 4, no to 4, jak jest 5, no to 5. Czyli patrzcie, to jest moje koronne wewnętrzne imperium i patrzcie, to jest moja zdolność taka umiejka. I mogę pójść w to na więcej razy. W ogóle w tą ścieżkę rozwoju. O kurde, to przekonywanie jest mocno. Czarowy mężczyzn i kobiety baw się innymi jak marionetkami. A może to przekonywanie nie tylko pod testy, ale tak generalnie, żeby lepiej tam urabiać innych? O kurde, rekonstruuj miejsca zbrodni, sprawy praw fizyki, działa na rzecz praw ludzkich. To widzę, że to jest dużo. W encyklopedię już nie możemy pójść, Derku, więc coś innego musi być, jeśli jeszcze jesteś.
She's completely internalized her husband's struggles. They are her own.
Może dasz radę, żeby spróbuję zdać z tymi kryptydami, tylko jeszcze
dear.
pogadajmy.
I'm not sure where to begin. Well, his expression is slightly grumpy, but his eyes are always bright and curious, like a small boy's. And his palms are quite coarse from all the field work, but he's quite gentle.
It's always a challenge to describe the person you know best in the world.
Oh, well, he's a bit shorter than you, but with a larger frame, and he has longish white hair, usually a bit uncombed. You might say wild, even.
The lieutenant pulls out his notebook and begins jotting down the woman's
O,
description.
grzecznie kim.
One other thing, he'll likely have all kinds of field gear on him, even if he's not out in the reeds, you know, just in case.
Just in case.
We'll be celebrating our 16th anniversary this autumn. Not the most numerically satisfying anniversary, but I like the less obvious milestones even more somehow. By a dating agency, I'm ashamed to say. I was looking to get back into the scene after recovering
A on
from an
właśnie był
accident,
ekspertem od 4 kółek.
and he just divorced. We hit it off, and, well, here we are.
She's skipping over some important parts. Perhaps you'll find out more later.
I hope I've been useful. Oh, sweetie, it's fascinating. But I shouldn't bore you with entomological minutiae.
Właśnie chcę, żebyś się zanudzował.
The lieutenant gives you a sideways glance.
Well, it's a phasmid, technically, but
Oh yeah. Here comes the interesting.
where other phasmids imitate sticks or leaves, this one's a living reed. It disguises itself among the
kurde,
reeds here
używa
on the
trzcina.
Insulindian coast. Hence its name, the Insulindian phasmid. Perhaps you'll end up co-discovering the phasmid with us, officers.
There's a touch of awe in the way she enunciated the creature's name.
I knew it. We're gonna be chasing made-up insects with cryptozoologists.
It's not made up, officer. I can assure you.
A ten kim mnie denerwuje, z siekną będę
There's a
zły.
hint of defensiveness to her retort, but also confidence. She seems to sit up a little straighter in her chair.
It's simply elusive, so much so that most establishment zoologists doubt it exists at all. Well, some teenagers making out in the reeds saw one. They didn't know what it was, of course, but there was a brief article in a local newspaper about their encounter with a ghost insect that looks like the reeds.
Ja nie chcę być
Very. Of
niegrzeczny.
course, most phasmid sightings turn out to be false alarms, but their description matched the Insular Indian phasmid perfectly, and they didn't even know what they were looking at. Not at all. Why else would it hide itself so carefully? Oh, I doubt it. No one gets into cryptozoology for the money, sweetie. Yes, it can blend in almost perfectly among the reeds. It's how it stayed hidden all these years, centuries even.
Przyszła Wicka, ale kreseczka. Proszę cię. Zabiera mi się z tą
Oh
przełapką.
dear, I'm afraid I'm not explaining this very well. It is very special.
Kocham zwierzęta, które
Morel
wchodzą
can
tylko po to, żeby
explain it
wyjść.
all much better. I wish you could hear him describe it. Then you'd understand, I'm sure.
Dobra. Mamy coś na przekonywanie, widzowie. Dramaturgia, ciało jak narzędzie, encyklopedia, przekonywanie, półmroczność. Przekonywanie, super. A to jest -1 do przekonywania, patrzcie, +1 do przekonywania. Spróbujmy
Oh,
teraz.
hello, dear. There you are again.
Widzowie, robimy to. Przekonywanie. Let's go.
There's really no
Yes, sir.
point in manipulating anyone. She'd be only too pleased to tell you about her work. Go on and ask.
Nice.
Oh, I'd be delighted. Truth be told, I could really use the company too.
One cryptid, not a couple. One. This won't turn into some kind of cryptid extravaganza.
Chodzi i wychodzi, no co tak jest, no.
And I don't. Just one.
Or he'll be disappointed in you. Ooh, tough choice there.
A w choice pewnie, że
That
słucham o
would be the
kryptydach.
giant of Coco.
Najlepszy streamek. Like. 3 godziny o kryptydach.
The giant lives in the most arid parts of the vast Kokonur Desert in South Samara, casting a strange light across the barren wastes. A mirage or a psychogenous luminance. No one knows for sure. It is like an awful mountain
No way,
appearing from
potworna
below the
chmura?
horizon and
Znaczy góra?
expanding to cover almost a third of your field of vision. The towering luminosity of Kokonur is a bad omen in local folklore.
Fata
Some
Morgana.
say it's a fata morgana, others, fate unimaginable.
Hooey. No animal can be that large. It's a mirage.
It's a mirage.
That's what makes it so peculiar. A species surviving at the very limits of scientific law. The giant of Kokonur must be the
Coconut.
largest animal the planet can support. There are limits, you see, to how large a metabolism an ecosystem can beget. Some say a gravity anomaly below the Kokonur Desert might allow the creature to grow to these gargantuan sizes.
Jakby Derku nie słyszał, ale może dostanie powiadomienie.
Great. This is great shit. You need more.
Great shit. Lecimy.
Hey, you promised you'd only ask about one cryptid.
The lieutenant pauses, thoughtfully. Something in him breaks.
Coś nim pęka. Gumka.
Ah, fuck it. Let's have more cryptids.
Well,
Jest, mamy to.
the smallest cryptid is the Cryobacter catlensis, a unicellular bacterium. It was discovered in one of the northernmost points of Katla on the
Zanaga
Boreal
Oloszka.
Plateau by renowned geologist Caitlin Mijanou some 70 years ago. The bacterial colony Mijanou found had remained alive while frozen in ice for longer than anyone could reliably estimate, certainly from before recorded history. Mijanou disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the bacteria she had brought back to study, no doubt in hopes of prolonging her own life. Yes, the bacteria had survived in the ice since times immemorial. It is not hard to see where she could have gotten the idea.
It's actually a little hard to see. But do go on.
Yes, and she's quite mad, too. After she treated herself with the bacteria, she stopped aging, but also became increasingly eccentric and irascible, so that even her oldest friends were forced to pull away. We can assume that she has been living somewhere in the wilderness for decades now, all alone except for the Cryobacter catlensis coursing through her bloodstream.
No nieźle.
The gnome of Jeroma.
Nomzgę robi.
Oh, yes. None of its victims survived. Grieving relatives never even found their bodies because the gnome's venom dissolved organic tissue. It was reportedly a small creature with webbed fingers and a protruding forehead and an ungainly little thing. Quite scary to look at.
I na fascynujące, ile oni musi tych dialogów wymyślić, co nie? I takie różne tematy. Tworzenie takiego całego uniwersum to jest multum roboty przecież.
A couple of campers found it when it was already dying. They heard an odd wailing in the woods and followed the sound. They were scared and wrapped it in tarpaulin to suffocate it. It still took the gnome of Jeroma an entire day to die.
If the body of the creature was found, why aren't there detailed illustrations of it in science textbooks, confirming the existence of these very little species?
Alas, the first scientist who got his hands on the creature's corpse put it in a jar of formaldehyde, thinking that would detoxify the gnome's venom. Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into the surrounding liquid, dissolving the creature itself. A poetic end, perhaps, but a real loss for science. What an interesting question. And the answer is yes, there are.
Of course. All fairy tales have someone or something invisible in them.
Nie no, nie wytrzymam z tym przy...
It's the
Cicho,
Col
Kim.
de Mama d'Aqua.
Nie przy zabawy.
Name means thin whisper of sound, and that's precisely what it is. Self-replicating sound waves, invisible and intangible. The Col de Mama is very afraid of us, which makes it incredibly difficult to track. It could be. As I said, it
Ona
could
jest wśród
be
nas.
everywhere.
Ta
And
dziewczyna
we
jest dla niej
wouldn't know
teraz w
any
pokoju?
better. It could be ringing all the days of our lives and nights. Like nothing, it's such a high-pitched sound that us humans can't hear it, nor can other animals. It could be ringing right outside your window and you wouldn't even know it. Could be anywhere. Everywhere, even.
Even here.
Fine, I'll bite. How can an animal be a sound?
Many scientists have asked the same question. Some have claimed that it isn't itself a sound, but a tiny corpuscle that emits sound waves. But there's no evidence to support this theory. Plenty. It's the evidence that led to its discovery. In the 20s, a group of areopagite ornithologists, that is, scientists who study birds, were trying out a new recording technology for capturing sounds outside the range of human hearing. When playing back recordings they had made in the foothills of the Ea mountain range, they noticed certain anomalies, patterns that seemed random at first, but on closer examination were consistent with the waveforms of songbirds. The scientists soon discovered they could track and even predict what appeared to be feeding, mating, and migration patterns based on sound waves in a strictly delimited range of ultrasonic frequencies, even higher than those of the highest-pitched bat calls.
She transforms, when speaking about these strange animals, into a confident woman.
They realized that they had discovered a new species and called it the Koldomamadakwa, after the Paracanassian name for the
Orayo.
voice of God, which is said to be very silent. They grew quite obsessed with these little birds. Even though they couldn't see them, they could distinguish among individual birds and even sequester, time, Joscan. Those are but some of the Mamadakwa they followed individually. That is a sad story. A group of university students assisting with the field work in their enthusiasm for the project, and no doubt because they were preoccupied with impressing their professors, nearly drove it to extinction. They tried to communicate with it and had no other means but sound. So they started sending out sound waves at frequencies they thought might match the Mamadakwas.
This lady really should be a teacher. She's really good at the explaining things thing.
A co się dzieje, kiedy fala akustyczna spotka się o tej samej częstotliwości złotko?
No, dear. They
Jak to nie?
cancel each other out. And these tests were performed so recklessly that when they happened upon the right frequency, well, they wiped out most of the population.
Great regret washes over her. A wending cloth.
After that, the corpuscle appears to have migrated elsewhere. There have been recordings of anomalies similar to those spotted in Ea, but they've been few and far between. It's impossible to confirm the presence of any stable Koldomamadakwa population anywhere.
Of course. A common thread in these. Disappearance and unfalsifiability. I like the story, though, ma'am.
I'm glad you did, dear. What about what? Of course, dear.
You know, to hell with it. Let's have more cryptids.
Of course, officers.
Dobra,
Is
wszystko
there-
już posłuchaliśmy o
Of
kryptydach.
course, dear.
Pięknie nie oddajemy na razie. Pytamy się o automatyczny zapis.
Can I help you?
Aha, nie mogę. Dobra, widzę, bo nie możemy pójść w encyklopedię. Jakieś pomysły, w co idziemy? Savoir vivre?
The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod. He looks up at you, then looks away quickly. Shrugging is an international sign for, no, I don't know what's behind that door.
Dobra. Publiczny nasz strój, dramaturgia, ciało jak narzędzie. Nie, tego nie chcę ubrać. Oh yeah. Tylko, że nie możemy umyć tej satynowej koszuli. To jest ogrodniczka?
Let me handle this. Detective disorientated. Are you still wondering where you are? This is Martinez, in case you've forgotten. No, I am not a gardener. I'm a legal counselor for the Dock Workers Union. So let's get to it. You're looking for Titus Hardy? You think he has information that will help you? Maybe he does.
O ty kurde.
That's
Czarnuszko.
Titus. Talk to him.
Kto to powiedział?
But know this.
A nie, czarnuszko to
I'll
jest
be
dobra, to
keeping
jest
an eye
roślina.
on
Nara,
you.
nara,
No
nara,
strong
czarnuszko
arming.
to roślina, la, la,
Nothing
la.
official. The District of Martinez does not recognize your authority to make arrests.
It doesn't matter if you recognize our authority. We will make an arrest if we have to.
She says nothing. Her glare speaks for her.
Dobra, Elizabeth, weź tam sklej pieroga.
How is that sign cleanup going? Huh? Fuck the police and all that? She said she would clean it. She shrugs, almost no reaction. It's in there. She's just stonewalling.
This is about your alcoholism, isn't it? People talk. I have no patience for it. Or pity.
Coś ty powiedziała, Ruro?
A cheap deflection, but brutal. This did not have the effect you desired, but it did something.
Like I already told you, I'm a legal counselor. Do you have hearing problems? What you want is of no significance, officer. Don't test your authority.
Patrz jaka
In
bezczelna.
Martinez, you are no one.
I saw what you were thinking. You want to say, what are you going to do to me? Don't. You will not lose out on anything good by not saying it.
Okej.
Aggressive, you make your living enforcing violence. These people are just dock workers.
A, dog workers.
So you were spying on us, and now you represent murder suspects. Just dock workers.
Listen, you moral intern lackeys. You're a mob, enforcing the unlawful privatization of Revachol. 20 fat men in the Occident are stealing it all, and you're their bodyguards.
Ja tylko kradnę butelki.
Fuck yeah.
So ask what you came to ask, or get back to your commanders. I don't need privatization peons from a rent-a-cop. Just do your job, ask your questions, then get out of Martinez.
Wow, you work hard. Oh, yes, you hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it real and provide.
Dokładnie, ciężko pracuję, sobarwie w
Oh,
robocie.
yeah, like a horse, a workhorse, for hard work. Look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps down cracked asphalt, mosaic, sand, and linoleum. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way, and you won't let it break you. You ride. That's just what it's like, life and death. But you got gills on your
Sauce?
side, baby. Got those black papers with the faces of the innocents on them. You bring in the Franco-Negros and the Solas. It ain't easy, but you do it, day in and day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. You're a cop, and a sprinter, and a money printer. Sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you not about to have an anxiety attack or shoot yourself in the mouth? But are you rich? That's right. You work harder than anyone. You almost rode yourself to the grave and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that? Look, the immigrants are cool. The immigrants play cool music. Everyone likes them, especially the women. Don't hate on the immigrants. They've got nothing to do with you living under a boat. The Gart man has set himself up one of those self-replicating money structures. You should learn from it. Don't play the victim. Think hustler. Think boo-hoo. The system is broken. The establishment is keeping me down. That's not the fuck yeah attitude you're used to. What is this? Why are you so poor?
Czemu jestem biedny, widzu? Wytłumaczysz mi?
That's right. 100%. Fucking G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from you every time you buy, sell, walk, talk, fart, so much as sneeze.
Serio? Zaraz zakichnę?
Every time you wipe your ass, they got their direct and their indirect modes of taxation. Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax, alimony, one tax that doesn't even have a name. Plus there's the stuff people in other countries pay for. That makes them ask for more money from you. Here. Total tax duties add up to 98% of all your money. Here you go, hustler. Fight the righteous fight. Free the people. Keep it real. Keep it street. Keep foaming at the mouth furiously on the tax issue.
Dobra, pytanie, czy jest sens iść w ten savoir-vivre. Dobra, pójdziemy w savoir-vivre, bo ja chcę ten krawat. Dobra, teraz szybko speedujemy, bo dzisiaj mamy jeszcze 1,5 godziny i trzeba parę misji zrobić. Wbijmy dzisiaj jakieś 3-4 poziomy, jak się uda. Chociaż z moimi zdolnościami do gadania to nie wróżę sobie sukcesów. Czekaj. Czekaj, co jest? Czemu? Patrzcie, to jest jakoś zbugowane, widzicie to? Teraz mapą. To jest gniazda. Wentylator sufitowy średni. Aha, chyba będzie ciężko z tym savoir-vivre'em. Dobra, Jimmy, tutaj poczekaj, ja muszę sobie ściągnąć krawat. Plus 10 do zręczności fujarki. O kurde. Widzowie, patrzcie, trafiłem na żyłę złota. Dawaj mi tą butelkę. Kurde. Dlaczego na to nie wpadłem, żeby u siebie zbierać te? To już wchodziłem z interakcji, co nie? Ale sprawdzę jeszcze
The
raz.
window stands broken in its frame. The morning light hurts your eyes. It's hazy, but you see the ocean and some war-torn buildings.
Ale nie patrzyłem za dnia, dobra. Coś na savoir-vivre. Zręczne palce, opanowanie. Siane buty. Okej, teraz powinien mieć... Czemu savoir-vivre mam na -1? Mocno rozszerzone spodnie. Okej, teraz może mi się udać. Kurde, ja wcześniej savoir-vivre miałem
This family has
wyobrane.
2 chain, or has it been consigned there?
Patrzcie,
as
ktoś
punishment?
krawat. Let's go.
You feel as though you swoop up and catch
Patrzcie,
the
ledwo.
snap.
A musiałem się
It's
rozebrać do
released
połowy.
from the blade. Warning,
Tak.
warning.
Czepiasz się od
The
łopatki
necktie
wentylatora.
is no longer contained. What
Mamy
you
to.
have in your hand is a fantastic
Jaki okropny krawat, co jest?
with 4 or 5 different patterns. The knot reminds you of a noose.
Patrzcie, to dlatego to było savoir-vivre miałem tutaj miejski, dlatego. Budki mi też zabrały savoir-vivre. No to już wiemy, że budki i spodnie wywalam na savoir-vivre. Krawat. O, wewnętrzny imperium. To krawat jest idealny dla mnie przecież teraz. Czekaj.
Yes?
Muszę wbić, kurde, tak jakbym od razu wziął krawat, to może bym go od razu przekonał. Dobra. Jest nieźle. Jest nieźle. Zamknij środa. Zawody w przeciąganiu liny. Znajdź alkohol i go wypij, to możemy... To możemy zrobić wieczorem, przed snem. Wieczorem przed snem, XD. Pokaż mi lepiej te jeszcze zadania, mapy. O, te właśnie. Uszkodzony notatnik, zręczne palce. Czy ja nie mogę teraz wejść w interakcję? Zręczne palce, czas reakcji, przekonywanie, półmrok, półmroczność. Encyklopedia. Zręczne palce, poczekajcie. Interakcja.
It's the
Interakcja.
ledger you found. Oh, and an incredibly cool piece of
Logika.
kitchen tissue is stuck to the back.
To jest też biały i to jest też biały. Logika, zręczne palce. 92%. Dobra, na razie to jeszcze zostawmy. Może zaraz coś odkryjemy lepszego, to lepiej zwiększyć szanse, bo zaraz się okaże, że na 72% się wywalimy. Dobra, widzowie. Gdzie byśmy teraz poszli? Jak na razie olewamy. Idziemy tutaj za jakąś godzinkę albo dwie.
Was that? Could it be the Koldamama Dakwa? No, it's probably just your imagination ringing in your ear. There seems to be an extremely high-pitched ring. Ultrasonic. Lena said it was very high-pitched, right? It's there it is again. You're about to rediscover a long-lost species. It must be very close. Maybe, just maybe, it will come toward you. What are you doing? You're a police officer, not a pansy ornithologist.
Ej, ale ptaszki to
The
ratuj.
only birds you should be looking
szanuj.
for are healthy women of childbearing age.
No, I don't hear the Koldomama Dakwa, and neither do you.
Ja
Of
słyszę.
course he doesn't. He's deaf.
It's deaf.
Oh no. The sound. It's moving away. Somewhere over there. Go after it. No. Too late. It's gone. Then keep your ears peeled, then. If the species really has migrated to Martinez, you're sure to hear it again.
Patrzcie, to jest tak, ja to muszę teraz... A ja wtedy nie mogę chodzić, co nie? A musiałbym to przesuwać, patrzcie, na przykład opodatkowanie i tutaj bym musiał teraz czekać godzinę 45. Premia domyślnie -2. Pychę bazową, metoda rocznego opodatkowania -2. Aha, aha. Właśnie to jest ultra drugie, co nie, Derku? Derku, ja nie wiem, czy ty byłeś, bo nie wziąłem ci tej encyklopedii. Byłeś, czy nie? Nie mogłem popatrzeć, ty chciałeś encyklopedię, ale my... Encyklopedię możemy tylko władować jeden punkt, wiesz? Teraz mamy encyklopedię, bo mamy jeszcze... Nie wiem, popatrz, mamy premię od przedmiotów. Ale mamy silną empatię. Zręczne palce mamy też wysoko. Ale zrobiliśmy krawat, który nam podbija nasze wewnętrzne imperium. Dobra. Ja nie mogę z nim pogadać? A, to tutaj ten anonasek. Dobra, chodź tutaj.
Looking for something odd? Come to tell me to fuck off again? Oh man, that's great. Look at that guy go. Haven't seen anything that funny in a while.
Rasistowski kierowca ciężarówki, to ja.
Thanks for that, but no, it's not mine. Drugs? They're shit, man. I don't let anything pollute my body. You know where that shit comes from? Sarah Mirizza, Safre, Ilmara. They take the money from our local junkies here and then use it to outcompete us in the manufacturing sector.
Teraz to kłamie z tych gości.
They know they can't beat us in a fair fight, so they have to get us to weaken ourselves somehow. It's racial sabotage, racial economic sabotage. Not in, not out. I'll never betray the purity of my tribe.
So you're telling us that you don't know anything about drug smuggling?
I don't know shit. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you. What do you think? I can't leave the lorry unguarded. Stuff's been getting looted.
Ma ten akcent
lately.
francuski,
It's
hihi.
those little kips sneaking around at night. If they touch my stuff, the bosses will be on my ass like ass cancer.
There was a bunch of spilled boxes in the back of a big lorry nearby.
Yeah, I knew that guy. He was an honest driver who loved this country. We were having a good debate about genetics at the Wheeling in Rags when some kip boys smashed his lock and took damn near everything. Lost his fucking job over it. Since he left, I haven't had anyone to talk to. It's a fucking travesty, is what it is. Isn't it obvious? Fucking Sealang, that beady-eyed South Samaran. His little side business is a scam. I wouldn't be surprised if he was peddling drugs as well. Of course he's a lorry driver.
O proszę.
He tell you he's just some simple businessman or some shit. He's selling his employer stuff after he broke the seals on his Humanox lorry. His tribe are natural liars. It's in their blood. He's your man, all right. 100%.
100%.
I wouldn't be so sure about it. Not until we've heard what Sealang himself has to say.
Guess so.
No patrzcie, znowu kaska leży na ziemi. Pieniądz do mnie krzyczy. Patrz, Derku, jesteśmy bogaci. Już tutaj w ogóle śmieci nie ma, co jest? O kurde. O, a tego nie mogłem wcześniej zrobić, co to jest? Możemy
The
tego
lorry
zrobić?
stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine is well kept for such an old machine. The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings, stickers, insignia. The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. Proclamations about honor, strength, and purity are
Kurde,
glued
myślałem, że
to
się tam
various
włamiemy.
panels.
Ten w ogóle jak
Back
stoi na
end
tym
of the
tym.
cabin
Na
is
tym
a
mostku.
small perch to sleep,
Tej ciężarówce.
large ashtrays. There are several suns and wheels sewn into the curtains.
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy. Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
He was acting tough before. This probably scared him a bit. Who knows when it will come in handy? A slightly scared, racist lorry.
O, szantażyk, to mi się podoba. Dobra. Dopisujemy. No jesteśmy, widzowie, jesteśmy mocni, jeżeli chodzi o kaskę. A wiecie, jesteśmy o co słabi? Ty nam coś powiesz, babeczko, na szybciku. Chciałem pójść tam, wejść do tego budynku, bo tam jest płaszcz na górze.
Lowman, you called me at
Dobra. Chodźmy do tego sprzedawcy od ubrań. Może coś od niego kupimy. XDD. Dobra, widzę, jak myślisz? Sprzedajemy tą... Widzowie, czas decyzji.
An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island, pointing toward the sea.
Nie,
It looks as if
encyklopedia. Tam encyklopedia. Widzowie, czas decyzji. Sprzedajemy tą kulę, czy nie? Patrzcie, sprzedajemy tą kulę? Bo broni coś nie chce tego z karabinu, ale kula nam się przyda? Jak myślicie? Co tam mam na minusie? To Warweaver. Trzeba pamiętać, żeby ściągać wszystko jak będzie coś z Warweaveru. My chcemy sprzedać tą kulę. To jest pytanie na teraz. Może jakąś książkę byśmy kupili od razu. Pójdziemy tutaj na dół, później pójdziemy do tego komina.
Now it's turning into a
kind of a
Konceptualizacja, nie.
snowball, man.
Tego na razie nie zrobimy. Procent? Nie ma szans. Jak tam w ogóle nasze tego pedeki? 50-50, dobra. Czekaj, tutaj chyba mogą jakieś testy zrobić.
You keep coming back. That's good, officer. Keep
Opanowanie.
browsing those clothes, keep saving that economy.
Półmroczność, opanowanie, savoir vivre. Półmroczność, czyli coś na półmroczność? Na razie nie. A za 2, kurde. Za 2 nie kupić? Jak myślicie?
The speakers below are banged up and
O, te
worthless.
trampki, patrzcie, trampki
The
serii Fan
speakers
Ultra, czas
triumph
reakcji,
over
koordynacja, oko ręka.
They're the star of the show here.
To jest mocne. Tutaj chyba jakiś test.
The shine on these sunglasses lasts a lifetime, officer. 100%.
100%. Dobra, jeszcze w kubly pogrzebiemy. Nie no, jak tutaj możemy, już mamy za dużo tego w tym. Nie no, możemy dalej zbierać, co nie? Możemy. Dobra, idziemy do niego pogadać, może popchniemy kulkę, żeby mieć kaskę.
Everything's still cool here, officer.
Biedna społeczną podlona babcia? Czemu ma -1 do tego?
Drugs? I don't go in for that, officer. Drugs ruin lives.
Tata.
Unless you're into drugs, of course. In which case, drugs are excellent. Mwah! Tasty, tasty drugs. That's very cool. A lot of the coolest detectives do drugs. Sadly, I don't have any drugs on sale, or at my home, or on my person. That's even cooler. You investigating that and all. But I am not a lorry driver. I'm just a street vendor. I don't know anything about that.
Dobra, Sealing, zaraz się zgarnę i wezmę ubrania za darmo.
Who said that? It's the fat racist, right? I bet it's him. He has an agenda against me because I'm an immigrant who works harder than he does. He's a...
So you admit you're a lorry driver?
Mamy to, widzowie, mamy to, porobione. Jak
No,
dzieciaczek.
I just said I work harder and he's an asshole. I'm... Okay, maybe I'm a lorry driver too. A little. But that's not the most important thing about me. That's my day job. This is my dream. Exactly. It's such a small part of my life. It's in the rear view mirror now. I'm climbing out of that hole with ingenuity. Nothing. I told you. I'm not a dumb guy.
And what crowd is that?
Aha.
Crowd. You know, the drug crowd.
Ale ten kim to robi tymi pytaniami?
He doesn't want to talk about them. He's afraid.
Look. There's bad people doing bad things here. That's all I know. Please don't get me into this mess. I've spent 15 years working my way up.
Dobry czy zły glina? Zły glina.
It's a she, okay? The other drivers call her the lady driver. You're better off staying away from her. The way they talk about her, she's no lady. I don't know. Maybe. If she is, I haven't gone near her. I don't get involved. I told you.
Kryminalne zagadki, ciężaróweczki,
It
poróweczki.
could be. She was strange.
All of them. I don't know. I told you all I know. Are we cool now? I really want...
Who exactly is talking about this lady driver of yours? The racist or the other one with the tattoos?
Aha, rasisty czy z tatuażami?
All of them. Even the ones who've left. I don't hang out with them. I don't remember who has tattoos. All right. I scored. Let's cap this off with a purchase. You can walk away from here with funky sunglasses, detectives. Both of you. You deserve it.
Dobra, aktualizacja. Myślicie, że to ta kierowczyni, o której myślimy? Że to ta sama? Dobra, jesteśmy już tutaj. Grzechem by było nie sprzedać tej kulki. Także ją później odkupimy. Sprzedamy tą kulkę. Kurde, tutaj 2 razy już mnie wydymał.
Top of the morning to you. How may I be of service?
2 razy mnie odczepił. O!
The Madakwa. Sorry, I would never have guessed that you were that interested in ultrasonic sounds. Or birds for that matter. Oh, I didn't mean to imply otherwise. Well, it's been a while since I've gone
będziemy
hunting for the
naćpanym rojem z
Madakwa
gniazda.
myself.
Polować na kolorowej.
Once knew a group of young musicians who decided they didn't want to play music anymore and started looking for all kinds of interesting sounds instead. Cool or not, one of them was obsessed with recording the Madakwa, and he was one of those passionate people who know a lot about all kinds of strange things, so he got the rest of us to join in his search. We thought we did. We got together all these recordings of unusual sound patterns, compared them, cut them up and combined them into the Symphonia Madakwa. Unfortunately, I don't have any recordings from my old life. None at all. But I do have a tape with some ultrasonic sounds that might be what you're
Za 1000
looking
reali
for.
dam tobie zmontowane nagranie na kolanie.
Do we really have time for this?
This recording comes from down the coast. Wasn't looking to record
O,
anything
za darmo?
specific.
Widzowie, za darmo.
Just left a recording
piwka.
device there one morning.
Darmowe nagranie z mamą Podawałą.
Keep in mind, I have to slow this one down enough to make sounds well over 200 kilohertz audible to the human
Pewnie
ear.
mi spadną morale albo coś.
It will be
Albo zdrowie,
strange.
bo jestem na kacu.
As the hum grows louder, modulating but always unnaturally uncomfortably low, like it's coming not from the speakers,
A, widzicie?
but also from inside your
Minus
chest,
1 do zdrowia.
breathing is becoming difficult. That's an illusion. Your breathing is just as it was and will remain that way unless you
Nie
start
panikuj. Zrób
panicking.
test na panikę, zobaczycie.
There's a growing sense of dread. The sound is coming from inside you, but also surrounding you.
Kurde,
It
wewnętrzne
feels as though
imperium.
someone is
Ratuj
standing
mnie,
just
a nie
outside
ciśniesz
your
mnie.
range of vision. And what he nods to you, reassuringly, just as more diverse, higher-pitched sounds, some random, some appearing to form patterns, hit your eardrums.
Gulls and skewers. But
A low range of sounds is easier to handle with a focal point, but still troubling. You are mesmerized by the sounds, but also feel nausea welling up as the motif continues, then begins to recede, dissolving in what must be the sound of water lapping at the bank.
you know, now that I've listened to it on these new speakers, it's not the Madakwa.
Czy dostałem plus
Wrong
5 punktów
patterns,
doświadczenia?
wrong
Tak,
photons.
elegancko.
Probably some insect trying to sing higher than its predators can hear. Still, fascinating, aren't they? Early morning sounds. Sure, let me have a look. Anything else
Dobra,
you're
widzowie, ja bym
thinking
sprzedał
of
tą
selling?
kulę. Co wy na to? Dajmy kulę. A później... I wiecie co teraz zrobimy jeszcze? Straciłeś kudnus. Nie? Poczekaj, a chciałem
Another
teraz coś
time,
kupić.
perhaps.
A czy ja nic nie mogę niego kupić? Kurczę, coś czuję, że... Aha, automatyczny zapis. Zaraz się okaże, że ta kula była do czegoś ultra potrzebna, ją sprzedałem. 7 godzin 10 minut czas analizy. Nie no, widzowie, no to trzeba jakąś książkę znaleźć. Może niedobrze tą kulę sprzedałem? Kurde, sam już nie wiem. Zakręcony jak słoik paróweczkowy, paróweczka. Dobra, nic tu po nas. Lecimy teraz do... Ja z tym Andrzejem gadałem? To jest... O, z tymi nie gadałem jeszcze. Let's go. Oni wczoraj zniknęli, zobaczymy co mi powiedzą. Pójdziemy do tej babki, może ją wyczajmy.
Life doesn't need to be a struggle. I'll be with you in a moment, officer. Let me just finish my sandwich. Talk to angry old René first.
Wolny, gniewny Reni jest wolny.
Have you no shame? Whining about your back every time you bring out the measuring tape.
René, you're a man with a fork in a world of soup. Please, let's just try to enjoy the game, all right?
Dobra, przymycę ciasteczko do
I'm
pyska.
trying to, but you keep breaking my concentration. You're old. I can see that. We're both old. Now stop grabbing your ass like it's a girl.
These manly men are playing balls. This is a ball game. Grab a ball and play it. Don't ask questions. Shoot first. Ask questions never. No, you got this. There's the ball. You're the game.
Koordynacja. Koordynacja. Koordynacja, nic nie mam na koordynację. Gramy w kulę? Puszczamy kulkę.
Can you please stop whining for 1 second?
René, you are the angriest man in the world.
Może lepiej mi się najpierw przejrzeć.
See? Your munching and complaining have ruined my concentration.
Could the objective of the game be to throw the metal ball so it lands by the wooden ball?
Ah, mon Dieu.
Mon
The
Dieu.
pain in my back is unbearable. I can't even say if it's in my back or hip anymore. Feels like it's in both.
I hope you pass out from it. You goddamn jellyfish. Men like you are the reason this nation is sinking.
Ten jak ubrany pięknie jest. Fajną grafikę.
Shush. Ignore them. They don't know what they're doing. They're old. You are letting down yourself and the team. Get in the damn game already. Doesn't matter what team. Pick a team. Any team. The blue team. You're letting them down.
Trenerze, jestem
Get
tym,
in the
kogo
game
szukasz.
and throw the
Ale czemu tak nie
goddamn
było?
ball.
Pokaż mi to.
Eyes on the ball, Dinky Winky.
O nie! Ej, czemu mi to spadło z 72 do 42%? Kurczę, niepotrzebnie się im przyglądałem, zlamiłem. Miałem... A, mogę też nie tak pisać. Bo miałem przewagę, miałem 72%, a skończyłem na... Karamba. To na razie nie pociągniemy tych kulek. Czekaj, co tutaj było? Były jakieś myśli.
In the morning light, the white on blue police livery on the motor carriage cannot but catch you. Do something important? Something murder related? There's always something important. Doesn't mean you can't take a moment to admire this piece of machinery. Even at a standstill, the unibody Caprice Kanema looks sleek and dynamic. The cabin is tilted frontward to give it a more aggressive, hunched look. Someone has waxed it recently.
No, co za podacznik?
Mm-hmm. You want to take a closer look? 130.
I reckon that's a 7-liter V12 there.
You lost me there. The Kinema is fast. Feels right at home on the raised motor track. Hard to find something that could overtake it. Yes, an extraordinary machine.
It's nice and all, but why so modest? Put some zing into it. Flare it up.
A to ta
Slam it down.
elektrochemia to brzmi jak jakieś
It's a
braki.
bit girly right now. Fit it with some proper off-road components.
Sorry, I'm not following you.
Lingo it up.
No, that's porno tuning.
Porno
Use
tuning?
bigger words.
Porno. That's short for pornography. That's a negative on the porno. Thank you, though.
No one in the history of convictions has been more sure of anything.
No kurde, no. Ale ty kim jesteś jednak napinaczek? Ja myślałem, że jestem narzekaczek. Dobra. Idziemy do tej babki. I módlmy się, żeby nam już oddała to zadanie. Kim? Co tak wolniutko biegasz? Kurde, po co ja tą kulkę sprzedałem widzom? Mogłem przecież butelki oddać.
Lowman, you caught me at an opportune moment. This awful weather keeps me awake. You can entertain me with your
Zabawiałeś
questions.
pytaniami, zaraz się pozabawią moją spluwą po jej buzi.
Did you just call me a lady, Herife?
She clearly doesn't think she's a lady. Don't repeat it.
I'm not that either, Herife. I've gone too far from it all to remember what was between my legs. It doesn't work like that on the long haul. I'm only terrifying to small children and to those who used to know me. Because they can no longer recognize the person I once was. The big ones, the trucks. There's no women and men there, it's all just. In the middle of this town, there's a ghostly motorway. It takes all the people where they want to stay.
You feel very cold suddenly, as if standing face to face with a terrifying adversary. Then the feeling dissipates, and all you see is an aging woman.
How should I know? Do I look like I spend a lot of time with the other communers sniffing around? When I have my movies to go to.
No kurczę, o co chodzi z tym?
Oh, Sim.
Something in her is pulling towards some unknown rest state. She twitches, like a sleep kick.
Aha. Trzy godziny robienia jednej misji, widzowie. No, chcę tam... Let me in. Może ty mi powiesz, kim jest ta kierowczyni, co? Wiesz coś o tej
Now it's turning
kierowczyni?
into a kind of a snow limbo, man. What's on your mind? I don't want to talk about that. Man, I was hoping it isn't going to be her. All I can say is, she isn't around here anymore. She isn't some evil drug trafficker. And I don't know where she is. I didn't, man. I told you I was hoping it's not her. That she wouldn't be mixed up in it.
He still is, hoping. It's just wishful thinking on his part, not trickery.
Dobra, lecimy.
Thank God I don't know. People here call her the lady driver. She kept her name a secret. From me too. Now I see why.
Matko.
A friend? An acquaintance. I don't know. She was the only person in this damn jam I could talk to. She's someone I don't want to rat out to the law, okay? A youngish woman. Gruff, but in a cool way.
What color hair?
Blue and violet. Dyed. It was violet when she got here. Blue before she went. Damn, I don't want to... Please just let it go. Whatever she did, it can't be that bad. She's not a bad person. I know that much.
We can't just let it go. It's part of a police investigation.
That's how it always is with you, isn't it? All part of the investigation.
Wszystko jest częścią dochodzenia, tak to już z
The
wami
girl's
jest.
troubled. If you hunt her down, she may not survive it. I can't have that on my conscience.
It won't come to that. We won't pursue her on this. This is information only.
I don't believe you. She's got the darkness in her. That young person's darkness when you think it's all over. And you're looking for a way out.
She shared this with you?
Yes. Which is why I don't want to snitch on her. I heard the rumors. I saw the other drivers looking at me strange when we talked. And she told me, too, that she's had a violent life. But I wasn't afraid of her. More like for her.
Did this violent life include drug trafficking?
Well, it looks like it did now. But we didn't talk about that. We talked about life, you know? She talked about her mind, the way it worked, the trouble it was giving her.
The pain it was causing her.
Fuck, man. Go grill someone else with these questions, okay? There are plenty of drivers here who couldn't stand her, or were afraid of her. They'd be more than happy to rat her out.
He's right. There are other options. The raceman, for one. Push Tommy, and it will break his heart and his spirit. Now is not the time to focus on feelings. You need that info, son.
Zmuszamy Tomiego?
You're not gonna put a bullet in your head if you blow it, are you? Because she's on the edge, man.
I wouldn't be so sure, Tommy. Imagine it. An explosion of stars. Goodbye world of men, money, and machines.
Thank you, friend.
Dobra, pójdźmy jeszcze szybko do tego. Ale mnie wydymała ta ogrodniczka w ogóle. Czarnuszka mała, śmierdząca. Jak rasista nie sprzeda, to
Looking for something,
dziwniemy.
Hunt? Come to tell me to fuck off again? I don't know what you're talking about. He did something. He stole his employer's goods and another lorryman's job. You should be thankful for the tip.
He's been expecting this. He's really puffed himself up.
Listen up, fuckwits. You don't scare me. You cops don't run Revachol West. You don't run Martinez. You don't run anything.
No. He means La Puta Madre.
The name resounds like a bell in the air. A dark gong. You get a... Looks like the lieutenant has a plan. Let him do this.
Yeah, him.
Then I presume you are familiar with his peonies.
Yeah, they're his little bitches. He's got them all over the unions.
Not just the unions. He has peonies everywhere. Some say he even has them in the RCM. Dirty fucking peonies who'd do anything for him. Multi-ethnic drug addicts.
Dobra, dajmy Kimowie się wykazać.
You're not peonies. You wouldn't be investigating a drug thing if you were.
No, of course not. We are not peonies. But if we were, and one of Madre's drivers were to be stealing from him, then it's a good peony's job to find out who that is. It's not a hard job. It won't take a long time. It won't make Padre Madre angry. But a stupid fucking racist is standing in the way, protecting this fucking thief.
I'm not scared of you or the mob. I'm under the protection of the Lorrymen and Carters Guild.
You've seen the corpse in the yard, yes? You took a peek. I know you did. Does it look like his friends
Matko,
protected him?
kim szantażysta.
Nah, you wouldn't just leave him out there if you...
The lieutenant turns and gives you a barely perceptible nod. I've softened him up as best I could. Now it's on you to finish the job.
Półmroczność, coś na półmroczność mieliśmy. -1 do półmroczności, tak. Dobra, no musi się udać, co nie?
Looking for something odd?
Musi się udać, widzu.
Fuck off again?
Półmroczność trudny, 58 wyrównane, 58%. Lewki ma, widział jak wężysz przy szoperce. No nie chcę tam tego dojechać. Półmroczność, lecimy.
Men like
Yes,
this
tak.
only respect
Tak,
two
sukces.
things: strength and fear.
Let's go.
Time to turn up the volume.
Fuck you, I told you. I'm not...
I dawaj jeszcze papieroska, frajerze.
There. His voice grows smaller as yours.
Fucking homo cop. Look, fuck you, man. It's some lorry down there. Green, banged up thing. I don't fucking know who she is.
When did she go away?
I don't know. I don't even know her name. She just rolls with the fleet and acts like a big shot. Some dyke,
Nie nazwa.
probably.
Now it's not a big deal for him anymore. This is how he saves face.
Past the monument. Down there. The Green Temple. Now leave me the fuck alone, okay?
A small temple by the monument. Green. Let's get...
Looks like he got his adrenaline up, too.
Masz fajka? Szybko opchnę butelki. Nie ma Grażynka.
Is this about the questions again? Because
Oh.
I don't really know anything. A warehouse? I don't know. Maybe. I don't really care what Frit does.
She scrunches up her face into an expression of consummate adolescent skepticism.
Fine. Frit doesn't have a warehouse. Just a little back room here. Okay?
Reality? You mean, what reality? Economic reality, or...?
I don't know. What about it? We're in Frit? As mankind, or as a nation, or...
In a good place?
I mean, science is doing great, and this radio computer thing seems to be kinda big. I don't know. I don't know. Look at the clock. It's right.
The clock shows the time at 10:09. The hands seem to be still. It's apparent the clock doesn't work.
When ordinary people take over the government and, yeah, it happened like 50 years ago or so. Sorry, I'm not very good at this.
A w części jesteś
At
dobra?
history, I mean.
XD.
Our government? Or do you mean something else? Sorry, I really need to finish this article.
Cool.
Dobra, gdzie się dawało? O, tu jest automat, patrzcie, jest automat.
The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says, 1 bottle equals 10 cents.
One bottle, one cock.
Your bottles clunk into the machine,
Easy.
and the money appears with a sound. Do you know what you should do with that money, kiddo? You should buy more alcohol. Enter the endless cycle of consumption. A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and blister packs. They all bear the
Nie, chcemy tego, chcemy alkoholu. Ile za
A
fajki?
colorful display of cigarettes and alcohol bottles line the shop wall, inviting you closer.
Again, I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health.
Dobra, do wieczora jak nie znajdziemy fajek i alkohol, to kupujemy tutaj, a może się uda kogoś okraść. Co? To powiedział. Szukaj kabinet ciężarówki, kierowczyni opodal pomnika. Let's go. Dobra, lecimy, kończymy ten pomnik. I idziemy do tej garażynki, co nie? Hotel Joyce. Albo zanim pójdziemy do tej Joyce, to jeszcze pójdziemy gdzieś indziej. Będzie? No i która jest ta zielona obok pomnika? Ta? Okej, let's go.
This screen found, A to Z, contemporaire, is parked in the shadow of the ruins looming overhead. It's seen better
Kurde,
days.
szkoda z tymi kulkami, że ich nie poptam,
This
ale
must
się
be the one
bałem.
he told us about, unless he was lying.
The glass on the side windows is tinted and covered with dust. You can barely make out the shape of the seat and two steering
Już
levers.
jeden czerwony test nam nie wyszedł.
It feels like you're
Musimy
peeking
uważać.
into someone's home residence. Inside, the door is locked. The handle looks shiny, like it's recently replaced. There's no pick in this lock. The owner has put special care into it. It's a recessed design.
Use the pry bar to smash the window. Open it from the inside. This has been hard enough. No need to make it any harder.
Okej, nie mam w ręce narzędzia, ale mogę wziąć łom, narzędzia. Łom. Wróćmy teraz.
This
Ciało jak
screen
narzędzie.
found, A to Z, contemporaire, is parked in
Ciało
the
jak
shadow
narzędzie,
of the
lecimy?
ruins looming overhead. It's
Dobra,
seen
lecimy
better
ciało jak
days.
narzędzie. Czekajcie. Nie wiem po co zapiszę. Moim zdaniem jest słabo czytywać po
This
zapisaniu, ale się
screen
uda, więc nie
found,
będziemy
A to
się
Z,
czytywać.
contemporaire, is parked in the shadow of the
wymagające.
ruins looming overhead. It's seen better days.
Czekaj, ciało jak narzędzie, wymagające, wybij szybę w oknie. I co, ja muszę rzucić w 12?
Pry bar in hand, you take a hard swing at the window. A loud thunk rings out and the pry bar bounces back, leaving a tiny spider web on the glass.
Okej, czyli ciało jak narzędzie plus wynik kości, czyli musiałem wyrzucić minus 7, kurde.
Goddamn maggot. Drag your ass to the gym and do some reps right now.
No, it's not shatterproof. Give me that.
He smashes it into the window. Droplets of glass fly everywhere, shattering over the lorry floor and pavement. You can just reach in now.
Kurde, a to nie mogłem tego zrobić z powrotem?
It went better than I expected. Open it from the inside.
Aj, karamba.
The smell of cigarettes and perfume.
A ciekawe, bo to
welcomes
był
you.
biały test.
The cabin
Może
inside
powinienem
is
pójść na siłownię i
plastered
to
with
samo
old
otworzyć?
movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front
Damn
and a
it.
toolbox
Cholera,
tucked under the
parówka, no.
driver's seat.
Testy nam nie wychodzą,
Some
widzowie.
tools lie scattered near
Chyba,
the
że na
walls.
upośledzeniu umysłowe, ten wychodzi zawsze pozytywnie.
These are movie posters featuring starlets from long-forgotten films from the 20s, the teens, even the 90s of the last century. One of them particularly catches your eye, a centerfold of an ingenue attached right above the back seat. The actress is draped in a sheathed dress, one of her shoulders bared. The faded remains of an
Marilyn
autograph
Monroe?
run across the poster.
A nie, czekaj.
A feeling of tenderness washes over you. A longing even, perhaps. Wait, doesn't she resemble someone you know? But you can't put your finger on whom exactly. The actresses and the rare actor all smile you a warm goodbye. A radio transmitter is attached to the dashboard and a toolbox sits
Wyjdzie
under
się
the
pedałem,
driver's
co?
seat. Looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed. Like
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least. For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. This is all shortwave, UW and UKV. Looks like we are dealing with an impressive organizational tool. The nerve center of a huge operation. With quite a range too.
a 20-kilometer radius at least. perhaps extended by an attachable antenna that's not here right now.
Doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable without the dial key.
The smell of 1,000 cigarettes,
Klucza,
some
tak?
dead actresses, and a rusty old toolbox under the seat. You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here, a hammer, a pair of pliers, a rusty wrench, have been casually thrown there by the disorganized driver. But one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued to the throttle.
Sandpaper? A novel technique. Must be to offer some extra grip to the driver's foot.
The movie stars are still smiling from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a pull-out toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals. A metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's empty, except for a folded newspaper. It's an issue of Petit Feric from last Wednesday. A piece of paper falls out from its pages.
Aha, rekwizyt.
It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equations explain the basics of something called the Ulan frequency system. These formulas look oddly painful. Maybe it's
I
the
tu przy takiej okacji, ja nie mam
but they
kaca.
give you
Wszystko ze mną okej, nie piję już drugi dzień.
The Ulan frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but...
The pull-out toolbox slides back into its nest. The rest is as it was. Radio, posters, a trace of motor oil
No to
smell
zarobić
under
się,
all
że
the
to sobie
cigarettes.
wszedłem i kim rurka otworzył
Close the
nam.
rusty old lorry door.
Great. I think we got everything. A word, detective? Before we return to Joyce?
Nie wrócimy dzisiaj do Joyce, bo już nie ma czasu. Zaraz i na zoomkę. Piwka.
All right, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company rep. Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems to point to a rather extensive and well-organized operation.
Czekajcie, widzowie, bo tutaj mnie ktoś atakuje. Ihi. Dobra, szczerze mówiąc niepokoi mnie to, co dotąd widzieliśmy. Dowody zdają się wskazywać na istnienie ryzyka i dobrze zorganizowanej operacji.
I'm especially
Na
intrigued by
otwartym
that
sercu.
radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect.
Ciekawe, czy moglibyśmy
Looks
pomówić
like this
ten
alleged
nadajnik
drug trade
z
cast a
tą
while
kostką, którą mamy i tym nadajnikiem w tym nawiedzonym domu.
I'm not sure what the
Jakoś
Ulan
znaleźć hasło.
frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM networks.
Listening in on your calls between you and your station. Oh,
As elegant as they are, I don't think they are relevant to the drug trade.
don't be fooled. Desire always plays a role.
Yes, well,
Unimportant.
we didn't find anything conclusive linking them to the smuggling operation. But somehow, I doubt that Evrard Claire would be oblivious to something like this happening.
Gdzie w ogóle
at one
jest
time where he's
Rad
known.
Claire?
My suggestion is we use it against the Union in any way we can, to our own ends. It's a slippery hill, but we just might be able to pin them down, indirectly, down the road. As
Don't be fooled. Desire always plays a role.
yes, well,
Unimportant.
we should return to the murder case, see what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I call my station and suggest our narcotics department look into it. There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation, sometime later when we are done here. We do not want to get caught in that. The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean. Especially if the Madrid grouping is involved and I can't imagine there aren't. It's certainly worrisome. All the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either. Debrief over. After you.
Złe wieści, teraz idziemy pogadać z kimś innym, wiesz, Jimmy? 35, dobra. Ciekawe, czy da się wyekspić tak postać, żeby zrobić te wszystkie testy. Dobra, zanim pójdziemy tutaj, to ja chciałem jeszcze pójść tutaj, a może tutaj?
An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center.
No, na razie wejdźcie, bo chcę pohałasować. Latarka. A tutaj potrzebował jakiegoś klucza, co nie? Dobra, tutaj mieliśmy coś zrobić.
A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch
O, kopnąłem
black.
piec, opłacało się. Ciałek narzędzie, a weź odejdź. Mamy coś jeszcze do ciałek narzędzia? Patrzcie widzowie, powinniśmy mieć jakieś
A thick
100%.
layer of coal dust covers the furnace,
97% widzowie.
pitch black.
Let's go.
Something breaks
I jeszcze
loose.
11 wyrzuciliśmy.
A
Ja
mighty
pitole.
bellow echoes throughout the chimney's depths. The chatter of tiny voices above suddenly cease. Then
Ale ładnie, ładnie.
you've awakened the entity.
Hello? Did you say anything? I can't hear you. Please come upstairs. There's a safety curtain on the second floor. I'll open it.
You hear a low rumble upstairs. The sound of a curtain being pulled
On
aside.
będzie, ja wiem, które
After
rolety.
you, officer.
Dobra, wiem, które rolety. Let's go. Mamy to. Lecimy z roletami. Tamte, co mnie chyba walnęliśmy i straciliśmy życie ostatnio. Wiemy, gdzie idziemy, może to hasło odzyskamy. Tutaj gdzieś były te rolety. Gdzie to było? O, tutaj były rolety, patrzcie, mamy to. Aha. Dobra, są tu jakieś do pędzlowania, jakieś z tego? Jakieś butelki? O, kości do gry. Dobra, Grażynka, dawaj hasło.
Hello. I'm Nia. Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Milius. So what kind of dye are you
Aha,
looking
Franka
for?
Kimono.
Could this be the malicious entity? Perhaps it's wise to go along with this masquerade for now.
Yes, Amelia is like a call-in station. You need a two-way radio to access one. That's why I have these. Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking. Then how did you get inside? By the south entrance? You know what? It doesn't even matter. What matters is that you're finally here. Let's talk dice. Did you have something specific in mind? I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need. That's why you're here, yes?
Przyszedłem po hasło.
As she speaks, Her bone-like fingers fiddle with a ring. Her bones light, but her hands strong. Role-playing games? You know the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count?
Very good. My rate is 10 real per set, unless you want something really unusual.
Z kości
Take a
słoniowej.
look around and see if there's any particular stone you want to use.
This person means you, or no one else, absolutely no harm. She will answer freely and honestly.
How did I become one? It was a business decision. I was a regular jeweler at first, but that's an unfocused field with too much competition. Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedral dyes out of cobalt. That was my first order. I grew it from there. Not especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay. And role players as customers? They're nice people.
She's thankful for the security they provide her.
We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know. But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides, I don't really have to pay any rent here, so that's a plus.
Plaisance was right. There's an entity living in the chimney. You should ask her about the curse.
Creative.
I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true. It's just capitalism. We only hear about tales of success, so it's often surprising to realize how many ventures actually fail. Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energies spared her somehow? Oh, right. But it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the whirling in racks? Some people say it's part of the building complex. You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the east of the Commerce Central project. And then there is me. I've been here for 14 years, selling novelty dice to role-playing enthusiasts. Not exactly a million real business
Ciekawe, czy będę potrzebował kostki, żeby
idea,
zagrać
yet
jakąś grę.
somehow I've survived despite the talk of malicious energies. Strange, isn't it?
It's because she's in cahoots with the demons.
Malignant entity? What does that even mean? Some kind of sorceress?
The jig is up. The she-demon knows you've
Co ty
uncovered
gadasz,
her
półmroczności
truth.
moja?
Time has come to face the source. Fear not, for the forces of the universe are supporting you in this
Parapsychicznej misji?
quest.
So I'm the grand dragon in the cave. Might I ask what supports this claim? Ethereal? Thank you, but I think it's just the lighting.
Masz tę makrelko.
It's the troubled color of her energetic vibrations.
Of course you do. Show me
Chyba
a
źle
person in
popłynąłem,
Martinez who
kurczaczku.
doesn't have any tragedies in their past, and then we'll talk. If you ever find a way to explain all those inconsistencies in the curse, then let me know.
Plaisance needs to hear about this. Perhaps if you combine your psychic energies, you will make
Co ty
sense of the
gadasz?
situation.
To już
More
robiliśmy,
or
co nie?
less. Are you interested in anyone specific? Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't a big hit around here. Turns out that working class men don't like genderless haircuts. They're scared of that word.
Dawaj mi to ciasteczko.
You wouldn't like it either. The others would laugh at you.
You're right. It looks like you haven't let anyone near your hair in a long time.
She's right. When was the last time? You should get an
Yeah,
unandrogynous
yes.
crew cut.
It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemitep's Boxing Club, a community project created to steer at-risk youth away from drugs and crime. A kind man from Zemsk. I heard he had some trouble with the law when he was younger, and that's why he wanted to start the gym, as his way of giving back. Kuno. Who's Kuno? Oh yes, you mean the kid with the sailor's mouth. Yes, I've heard him yelling profanities in the backyard.
O, to Wenus byłby dumny. Tak, słyszałam, jak wykrzykuje wulgaryzmy na placu na tyłach. Widzisz to, Wenus? Gra dla ciebie.
I think it would take more than a gym to help that kid. It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation in Martinez even worse. At some point, someone started a rumor that the punching bag downstairs was full of amphetamines.
You should
Amfetaminu?
have known it.
Eventually, the coalition took away the funding and the club went bankrupt.
Ej, idziemy sprawdzić tę
This was a
amfetaminę.
few years ago. It's gotten much more peaceful around the plaza ever since. Oh, this one's a mess. There used to be a company that promised to repair windows 24 hours a day. What could go wrong with this? Turns out, the business was actually set up as a front for an illicit group that was producing snuff medias. Who would have guessed? And they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway and I have no idea how to get rid of it on my own. It's a sub-Rosa radio station that broadcasts real murders with real victims. Some people pay good money to get off on it.
Co?
What does she mean to get off on
Co
it?
ty masz na myśli, dziewczynko?
Don't worry, the ICP has a separate division that deals exclusively with unlicensed sub-roses. This isn't our problem.
Good luck with that. It's not easy catching those perpetrators.
Co? Nie wiem, nie wiem, nie chcę wiedzieć.
You mean Mr. Fabron, the taxidermist?
Pan Fabron
No,
wypychacz?
he mostly just did drugs.
Nie, on głównie na radiu siedział.
But what drugs exactly?
He got high on some weird taxidermy chemicals. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Eventually, they caused him to lose control of his bladder. The smell was awful.
Widzowie, potrzebuję chwilki do ubikacji, zaraz wracam. Dobra, wróciłem.
Even you can probably do better than that.
Lećcie na więcej.
You can almost see it. A small, sickly old man hunched behind his work desk. His pen stained with old piss, stuffing a sad, stiff-legged raccoon dog. The entire scene looks tragic.
There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple of years until the insect rights activists came. The atelier produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. Apparently chitin is made in the Occident, where it's extracted from beetle wings.
Kraszczy, krabąszczy? O, od razu lepiej.
And you know how all kinds of political movements are big in the Occident. The activists shut down the biggest chitin supplier, which of course caused the price to skyrocket. And, naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in chitin from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection. Actually, insects do have brains, but yes, I understand what you're saying. I think the protesters took it a little too far.
As she shifts around, you notice several dead flies on the windowsill in front of her. Legs up. They're not moving.
Anything else? They were made by a company called Slipstream. After they pivoted from making rotor blades to skis, their chief executive took off on a vacation with all their money. Honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending out holiday transmissions from Tulula or Tiumotiri or Hashtkor or wherever he is. Sure, it's illegal, but it's not exactly anything extraordinary in business. Besides, Slipstream is history now. All their remaining assets got seized by the bailiffs in 47. I have...
Maybe you could make a sword out of one. No, wait, forget it. It would take too long.
Fortress Accident, the radio game studio.
She liked them.
They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing systems every now and then. Once, I even saw two of them get into fisticuffs over Wirral. They certainly took their work very seriously, even if they seemed to be chronically liberal with their schedules.
liberalnie.
The usual. They ran out of money and couldn't get the project done on time. Well, I did hear them talking at times. They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some grand quest. Yes, but when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. You know, how the markets are rigged to keep out new businesses and so on. In the end, they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly historic, and to show up to work on time.
She's right. Showing up to work on time is important. Showing up to work on time is hard. No, scratch that. Showing up to work at all is difficult, especially if you've been drinking.
And so is producing something extraordinary.
Something strains her face before she looks up again.
Anything else? Oh boy, the fabled Revachol ICT. You're in for a treat here. The place was owned by two guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing. The bear was one of them. Now ask me about their other ideas. There was really just one, and it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them 20 cents per hour to man the booth. And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine browsing.
Sounds like she really didn't like those girls. Fritta does the same thing.
Employing silky teenage girls is a widespread practice, yes. Unfortunately, they always come in packs. I'm talking about acne-ridden girlfriends and gorilla-like boyfriends loitering near the shop. At least that's what happened with Revachol ICT. And they already had the bear. The bear. Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator. To make matters worse, the fridge didn't work too well either, and half the ice cream came out malformed and partially melted. Eventually, Ravishore Ice City lost the price war to its rival, Class A 5000. Class A 5000 sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents a piece, out of regular fridges. You did what? Really? You broke it? What a shame. It was a terrifying beast, but I was fond of it. The taxidermist who made it said it was his vision beast. He said he met his vision beast while high on desiccants. He called it Megatherion.
Megatherion.
Scary, but cool.
Megatherion.
Scary but cool.
A mega wild beast.
Gigachat. Mega dzika bestia.
Oh, I totally understand.
Nie,
Anything
chciałem
else?
posłuchać jeszcze, żartowałem. Gdzie to jest?
Oh boy. The place was owned by 2 guys that was written by...
Sounds like Fritte does the same thing.
Oh, but they did. They did show up to work, and not alone. There were also acne-ridden girlfriends and gorilla-like boyfriends loitering near, and they already had the bear. The bear. Of course not. Eventually, Ravishore Ice City lost the price war to its rival, Class A 5000. Class A 5000 sold caramel sundaes for... You did what? Really? The taxidermist...
Scary, but...
Megatherion. It's an imaginary beast that guides you through life by telling you to do more drugs, mostly.
A wise and noble beast, guiding you toward the land where the streets are paved.
Warto było to przelecieć jeszcze raz na szybciutko.
The horrific necktie tightens around your neck, strangely excited. But it doesn't feel particularly fun this time around.
What? Right. Anyway, now you know the story of the fallen ice cream empire.
No właśnie, dostaliśmy pedeki za to.
Outside it's light. Light
Chyba z każdym można
scatters
dostać
from the
pedeki, a z każdym nie
low-hanging
dostaliśmy
cloud
już. Okej.
There's always the threat of snow.
Anything else? Another failed business, perhaps? I've been here for a long time. Oh, right. I hope you didn't try to ring me. I think none of those doorbells work, including mine. I'm still in the middle of connecting the wires. Sorry about the confusion. The one with an empty name card. It's the last one in the list. As I said, it's quite useless right now. It doesn't work yet. Sure, I'm listening. I'm pretty sure it still doesn't work, but sure. What do you want to know? The one with an empty name card. It's the last one in the list. The one with an empty name card. Sure,
To czemu mi to
I'm
pokazuje?
listening.
Okej, coś się zbugowało.
Good. I hope it clarified things a bit. What else? Of course. Tell me what you have in mind. A normal die? I'm a novelty dice maker. Polyhedral dice. Dice that have more than 4 sides. Octahedrons, trapezohedrons.
Bączki.
Come on now. Be a little creative. I think I have just the right one for you.
Police colors.
Not the most original, I know. But sometimes the obvious choice is obvious because it's best. Here, catch. They're a gift from me.
Kurczę. Dobra, próbujemy, no bo co, pozwolimy upaść na ziemię, to będzie słabo wyglądało, no trudno. Kolejny test, może ten też się uda czerwony.
You overthink it.
No jak?
Your hands can't agree
No
what
jak?
to do, and the 2 dice
Jeden.
drop to the floor and scatter in opposite directions. Like
Zabrakło
pearls
nam
from a
punktu.
broken
Punktu
string.
nam zabrakło.
The
Punktu.
blue one disappears down the pit in the center of the room.
Ah, down the drain, like your career. I apologize,
Kurde, nic,
officer.
żadnego
That
testu już
comment
nie
was
wygraliśmy.
unnecessary. That one is made of bloodstone with a lapis lazuli inlay. The other one was the inverse. They were a set, you see, but now the set is broken.
Może się znajdziemy później.
It's a shame. They might have brought you luck. You definitely need luck in Martinez.
Is she pitying you? Good God, she's pitying you.
A jestem wnerwiony
Now,
teraz.
was there anything else?
Jestem teraz na ciebie wnerwiony tym podzidem. No.
Nothing really. I didn't know
Czemu mi
him.
po prostu nie dasz, no?
The lieutenant looks at his notebook, then the woman under the large window.
Kim? Czemu nie złapałeś? Kim? Kim czemu nie złapałeś?
Your window looks directly onto the courtyard. You're saying you didn't see or hear anything unusual last Sunday evening?
I'm sorry, detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my window.
Kurczaczek, no
There's
jestem
always
wnerwiony.
something going on in the Whirling's backyard. During daytime, there are usually those kids. And lately, I've been seeing a lot of drunk workers hanging about.
Widzę.
Must be because of the strike.
Przynajmniej.
She's not sorry to disappoint you. Informing on someone in a murder investigation would intrude upon her focused existence.
Spokojnie. Koniec z sytuacją. Kurde, no czemu straciłem tą kostkę?
But I
Wywalone
never
już
saw
macie jajca
anyone
tylko ci.
during
No.
that fateful Sunday night, I'm afraid. I might have, but in this case, all I would have seen is my own reflection staring back from the darkness. It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's dark outside. Besides, I rarely get up to look out the window when I'm in the zone. It's an odd profession, making dice for people, but I like it, and I prefer doing this to sitting at home.
She nods.
Anything else, officer? Of course. Tell me what you have in mind. Ah, yes, fortress accident. It's too. I'm thinking something made from alligator jawbone, cast in black resin. The reptile bone is as white as ice and dead as, well, death. For 7 real, I could have it ready in 8 hours. It's an icositetrahedron, a 24-sided die that can produce results for 2-sided, 3-sided, 4-sided, 6-sided, and 12-sided die with a single roll. Technically, you can also use it for many other sizes, but you may need to reroll results. Untreated bone is porous and prone to chipping. Cast it in something hard like resin though, and voila, it's perfect. Maybe you have some other ideas for... Ah, yeah, the weird... untreated bone is... Maybe you have... What do you mean by cursed? Alright, how about I surprise you? Come back in 8 hours with 7 real, and I'll give you your cursed die. Maybe you have a star that fell from the firmament? Those cost more than 7 real. Are you sure? Yes, you definitely have the proper attitude. How about a pair of 100-sided dice? Made of ivory and inlaid with lodestone. 10 real, and I can get these ready in 8 hours. It's true, magnetic dice are definitely different. When rolled together, the magnetic fields of the pips interact with each other to push and pull on each other as they're rolled. Maybe you have some other ideas for dice? How about an amber die? Who told you amber was cheap? It's beautiful, really, and has been treasured since the ancient times. For 7 real, I'll craft you a 13-sided die from piece of amber with a fossilized insect. It's perfect for those who can't seem to let go of their past. I had a feeling.
Wapno,
Maybe you
ciebie
have
nic już nie
some...
kupię, bo
No need to rush.
tym
Take a look around.
tempa rurą mi rzuciłaś kostkę. Widzowie, szukamy tej kostki szybko. Bo zaraz jest inna zoomka. Aha, 20... Uwaga, spójrz na zakładkę mapy w dzienniku ustalić, które są otwarte. Dobra, jestem zmadowany po całości teraz już. Jestem mat jak ta cholera. Dobra, speedrun. Speedrun, chodźmy do Grażynki. Tylko, że to ja nie mogę mieć. Dlaczego mat? Stary, bo... Byłem u laski na górze. Otworzyłem te rolety. Zawołałem w ogóle przez komin i się dogadałem z laską. I rzuciło mi 2 kostki, miałem czerwony test i miałem tam 48% czy 52%, że mi wyjdzie i zabrakło mi 1 oczka na kostce, żeby to wyszło i mam czerwoną kostkę, a niebieska mi gdzieś spadła w dupę, już jej nie znajdę, co nie? I dlatego jestem zmadowany. Gdzie mi wyszedł jeden test mi się udał, czy tam dało mi się 2 testy, z czego 2 były na 90 parę procent, więc wiesz. Boli głowa. Czemu cię głowa boli? To niech cię przestanie bolić głowa. Więc jestem tak wnerwiony. Dobra, idziemy okraść tą Grażynkę, dawaj. Daj mi tą mapę za darmo, bo przecież ogarną ci duchy. Wyobraź sobie, widzu, wychodzi się taki kurde z kanałów z latarką, z czapką wpierdzielką, z reklamówką na flaszkę. Reklamówka jest w sumie pusta.
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for more books?
Dobra, weź tam. No, zdenerwowała mnie, fajnie się z nią gadało, pogadaliśmy pół godziny.
And also, do buy the books. There may be teachings in them. A novelty dice maker? Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep. I don't understand. If it's not her, then where is the source of the doom? How did she explain the curse?
Dawaj hajs.
Before you say anything, ask yourself, is the woman really able to withstand? Just don't say you don't have any answer yet. The uncertainty is killing her. You've come this far, you know how to end it. There is an entity behind the entity.
Dobra, co bierzemy? Ja już nie myślę, widzowie, co bierzemy? Nie rozumiem, skoro to nie ona, to gdzie jest źródło zguby? Jak wyjaśnić klątwę? Kobieta wygląda z... Powiesz, zadaj sobie pytanie, czy kobieta naprawdę zdoła stawić czoła prawdzie. Nie mów tylko, że nie ma żadnej odpowiedzi. Dotarłeś tak daleko, wiesz jak to zakończyć, za tą incydent kryje się inna. A, wewnętrzne imperium, okej.
A third order presence, yes.
A great dark relief washes over her.
I've heard of these triactors. In certain occult literature, that's too dark to dwell on for too long, and definitely not in the presence of my daughter. I understand everything, sir. Thank you for your descending into the maelstrom.
Yeah.
I will keep fort up here, strengthen the wards, do my best. And if you happen upon the third entity in your travels, may the Lord be with you.
Well, this has been absolutely educational. If we happen on the third presence in our travels, we will certainly come back to tell you.
Yes, the venture continues in other waters, darker waters.
Should we get out of here before the vortex collapses?
Dobra, mamy nowy poziom. Czekam, w co powinniśmy pójść. O kurczę, kto to jest?
Yes? Hello? Me? No one. I'm just a working class woman.
She doesn't really want to be disturbed that much.
Looking for something to read. It is. I know you are. What with?
This citizen thinks she can do without your assistance. Don't buy it. They all
What's
need
just?
help.
Let's go.
Help her by carrying things? Maybe she needs a weightlifter. Maybe she needs you to fight her husband.
My husband? No, he's not. I don't know. At home now? Out there?
Where is this going, officer?
Yes, but I don't really need to know where my husband is. Not all the time. No. Why are we still talking about this? I haven't lost my husband.
Lecimy.
She has, though. The husband is totally lost. You should tell her that it's
What? Who said anything about shame? Stop talking down to me. My husband is not missing.
But he is. You can feel it. Or maybe it's something else then.
No, absolutely not. Are you a policeman or a nanny? They are not missing, sir.
You know where they are. They're at home, smoking. Given the lack of vices a chance. What if something horrible has happened? What if they're dead? That's the bad vibe you got before.
What? That's just... My daughters are perfectly fine. They're with their friends down in Japan.
She's getting upset. Her voice has risen as she tries to convince herself that her daughters are
Dobra, robimy jej
safe.
wodę z mózgu i lecimy na jej na zoomkę.
They're almost grown up now anyway. They're past the age they need me protecting them from everything now. My youngest girl, Jolie, is just shy of 16. Jenny, she's
16 to
turning
już za stara.
18 next month. But we shouldn't even be talking about them. Why do you need to know this? Haven't I repeatedly told you that they're not missing? That they're in Jamrock, safe and well, at some stupid party?
Did someone say party? You could use a party. Hunt it down.
A killer party? What is it with you and Pulp Staples? My God. Please, no more talk about my daughters. They are fine. I don't mean to disrespect, sir, but you are being a bit of a cockatoo here.
Słuchaj.
For what it's worth, I agree. But cockatoos can't be stopped when they get like this. It's better to indulge him at this.
I don't even have a cockatoo. And guess what? Even if I had, it wouldn't be missing. Great. Nothing. Go read up on them if you're so interested.
No, tłumacz się.
There's a great book in the bookstore.
Maybe you should. What if the cockatoo is your
Strasznie
astral
zwierzę.
pet? Or your heraldic bird?
Wonderful. The store is open.
Her hands move over the book covers. The tips of her fingers
Mamy
are
takie
rough,
zadanie.
stained with yellow. It seems like she has spent a lot
Warto
of
było
time at
zapowiadać.
work, smoking. An array of neurons fire up with joy. Bum her a cigarette, lest it turn to pain.
O, może nam da fajki. Lecimy.
No, I don't. Why do you think that I smoke? It's not like yours look much better. I already told you I don't have any. Go.
She's lying. She's goddamn lying. She has smokes.
Sorry, officer. From the kiosk? There's one near the harbor.
No to
It's frita. You can look
gdzie
it
te
up.
fajki? No czemu nikt nie ma fajek w tej grze?
She sighs. The woman before you nods and
To za
returns to
stara
her reading.
babuszka. Dobra widzowie, i tym optymistycznym akcentem idziemy poczytać o kakadu, ale to w następnym odcinku już. Okej? Następny odcinek zaczynamy od czytania kakadu. Chcę w ogóle sprawdzić, czy to jest taka książka.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
Dobra. Jest książka o kakadu, następny odcinek zaczynamy od czytania o kakadu. Remake edukacyjna, teraz widzowie. Przechodzimy na... Wiecie na co przechodzimy? Dobrze wiecie na co przechodzimy. Bo się rzekło, dzisiaj będą 3 odcineczki. Co? Kto to powiedział? Niemożliwe. Parówka i 3 odcinki? Parówka nie wytrzymasz 3 odcinków.